2 pizzas. Recipe, fluffy dough recipe for 2 pizzas. You're going to need 200 milliliters of water, 3½ tablespoons of sugar, a teaspoon of salt, sauce and cheese, and maybe a half a teaspoon to a teaspoon of cornmeal. So you're going to put this on the stove, high heat, to get it good and boiling, and then you want to get it to cool, not hot but not too hot. You don't want to kill the yeast. If you can put your finger in it and not get hot, and it's not real hot and not burn your finger, it's okay, but you don't want to kill the yeast. Okay, the most important part of this process is the sugar. People don't stress this enough, but this is the most important part of the whole process, okay? Because you want to get the yeast to activate. People don't stress that enough. You want it because you don't want to kill the yeast. If you kill the yeast, it's not going to turn out right. Or if you don't activate the yeast, if you kill the yeast, or if you don't activate the yeast, your dough will not turn out correctly. So while it's boiling, you mix that in real good. This is a teaspoon. Always add extra. Another tablespoon. You want to mix that around real good, because this is what the yeast is going to eat on, so I can activate and grow. You want that yeast to grow. Okay, now that we boiled it, most important part, make sure all the sugar is dissolved. Oh yeah, that's warm enough. Okay, that's cooled down enough. You take this, your yeast, 1 teaspoon, one and a half teaspoons of yeast. And you'll know if it's working if you can smell it. You'll smell that. It'll smell like bread, like watery bread. And you'll see, don't mix it, you'll see the yeast kind of growing. And you'll smell it. Okay, now that we waited an hour or so for our yeast to activate, we add in our flour. Now, I did 2 egg yolks, plus 2 tablespoons of dry milk. I'm shooting for thick crust, I like kind of thick crust, thick, soft, with a little crunch. So 2 eggs, 2 tablespoons of dry milk for the thickness. So we put that in here, in the yeast, with the flour. Okay, for the sauce, you add tomato paste, chopped onions, leave it in the fridge overnight, about 200 and 300 grams of this, tomato sauce, tomato paste, basil, tablespoon of basil, 3 tablespoons of sugar, very important, add that to tomato sauce, or it won't taste right, a teaspoon of salt, and onions, chopped onions, put it in the fridge, leave it overnight, and you can add, for every 300 grams, add 2 tablespoons of water. So yeah, look at that. Yeah. That's what I call a pizza. That's what I call a pizza. Spoon for the dough. You want to get it not hard, or your dough is not going to come out fluffy. It's going to come out all hard. And so add a little water so it's got like a damp consistency. And just use a spoon to just even it out. You get your ends like that. Mix water and oil. Throw that on there so you can get a nice fluffy consistency on your pizza. Ooh, look at that. Wow. I put my cornmeal on top. I like to put my cornmeal on top and just work it. Wow. This is going to come out nice and fluffy. Just how I like it. This is going to be delicious. Just a minute. I'm going to use this because the sharp knives mess up this, so I'm going to use this for cutting. Be sure to use this for cutting. Okay, sauce time. It's sauce time. It's sauce time. It's sauce time. It's sauce time. Sauce time. Sauce time. Oh yeah. Okay, that's good enough for one pizza. 1 big tablespoon. Don't forget to refrigerate with onion. With onion is going to give it lots of flavor flav. Don't forget, slap that with onion. It's about 3 tablespoons for every 300 grams. well, 2.5. Slap an eighth of a teaspoon of salt to your tomato paste. I don't have any cheese, unfortunately, right now, so when it comes out, I'm just going to have to use mayo. What do I have? I don't have any toppings. That sucks. But what I will use is this. So we're going to go ahead and cut that up. Shoot this out the way. This is it, the end result. Fluffy. Gotta be down for that fluffiness. Sorry, I tore a piece. I'll get a better piece. This right here. Look at those meatballs. Look at that cheese. Look at that. Yeah. That's it.